Hello, I'm Melanie Florence and this is Hot Tea for the Soul. So, today's video is going to be a little bit different because starting up everything was not necessarily about just sharing tarot cards and doing readings for people. It was a lot more about sharing me because there was a lot more of an adventure. So there are actually three things that I started when I kicked off this adventure to share the love and share some inspiration. So I had been doing work, a lot of work for other people, quite dedicatedly, getting dressed up every morning, putting a mask on and going and functionally doing what other people wanted me to do. For years I knew that wasn't me. So this year, this week, I'm turning 45. How did we get there? It's been a long journey. I've been a lot of things. So I was called Jack for a very long time as a child. I was called it by my mum's family, all my mum's family. My great-grandfather was a First and Second World War veteran. He was a light horseman. And his name was not Jack, but he was called Jack. And he died while my mother was pregnant with me. And so from the day I was born, my mother's family called me Jack. So much so that on my grandparents, my nan and pop's anniversary, like the last one that I saw them, my nan called me Melanie and I was like, who are you talking to? So I have another little adventure, not just Hot Tea for the Soul. This was always evolving. It's why the name has been evolving, because it's more than just tarot, and it's more than it's more than that. It's about sharing stuff, and part of that is about sharing me. So 45, single, no children, never been married. Always sort of worked for myself, never had somebody pay my rent and my bills. My mother has always been there. My brother and sister are really supportive people. Like, my dad is a little bit distant, but he's living his best life, so that's great for him, right? So, this has been a growth period. So Jack. We go back to Jack, because I also have a website. I put together a bunch of my photos and I wrote some stories. They're like 10-minute reads, 15-minute reads. It's called jackstreehouse.com. And so I've been on adventures. I went on adventures over the last few years and I always take pictures. I take a lot of snaps. I take a lot of snaps. Take a lot of photos of artworks. I take a lot of photos of landscapes. People are not my favorite. I like people candid. I like you like in my photo, but not just looking at me posing. I don't like it. I've done weddings, I have done birthdays and events, and I like pretty lights. So I like lights on water and stuff. So there's a lot of different articles in there. So I've written ones about trees, because I really like trees and waterfalls. And so waterfalls around Australia. I've written one about COVID and one about Sydney while COVID has been, and the photos of Sydney while it's been like that. I've written one about Florence and the ceilings in Florence, because that was just its own journey. Spent a whole lot of time with my eyes up and missed a lot of world masterpieces, because I was looking up at the ceilings. So that was really inspiring. Florence was really inspiring. And so I've got one on London. I have one on Gaudi, because I went to Barcelona and I saw stuff on Gaudi, and that was just amazing. I wasn't expecting Gaudi. It was the girlfriend that I was with. It was her adventure, Spain. And so I sort of went on with her adventure, and that was wonderful. Lived her dream and then lived mine in Italy. And so I've got a bit about this and that. And so I write a bit of articles. And so it's like this last year gave me a passage to involve myself in my own heartworks. So I had these heartworks, like, I'm not calling them artworks anymore, because they're like heartworks. It's like whatever comes of it, it doesn't really matter. Like, I know that I needed to do it, and I know I need to put my photos out there, and I really like telling the story that goes with the photos, because it gives it some sort of relevance. Like Hamburg, I walked in and there were bubbles everywhere, and I just walked through a festival weekend in Hamburg by accident, and so that was its own incidental journey. That was really interesting. And so it's like, I just like to take the photos, and I wanted to tell the adventure, and I wanted to tell the tales of those photos. So that became Jack's Treehouse, right? And inside of that, I'm going to have a Miss Melly Flows page to go with my hot tea. And so I'm going to add probably move some of the articles. I got my Witchy I'm coming out of the broom closet article in there because I've always been a bit Wiccan. I was brought up in the bush. The elemental thing is not new. It's like I have always been connected, and you know, the more I read about grounding and taking your shoes off so that you're connected, because we're actually insulating ourselves with the soles of our shoes, that stuff is real. And so I've got more involved because, you know, as I said in another bit, like hippie means live your fantasy and sort of really involve yourself in being inside of your congruent life, and that's sort of where this is at. So along with Jack's Treehouse, I launched this channel to do my tarot reading, because I've been tarot reading for 25 years, and that has been its own adventures. The deck again is broken up into the elements, like your fire, your air, your water, your earth, and the upper arcana, so I'm guessing that's spirit, and then we can be Captain Planet, right? And so this adventure has brought me to really wanting to share the cards and the tarot and how the tarot works, because I realise not everybody realises it's got its own institution. There's people out there who use cards and they're oracle cards, and I'm using a lot of oracle cards nowadays because I got gifted an abundance of decks last year, since I started this. So not always tea, sometimes coffee. A lot of coffee in the mornings, right? But I do like the tea. I was thrown off the bottle really early because I was allergic to milk, lactose intolerant on goat's milk, right? So I drank black tea from when I was babe. Like black tea a lot. So send me your favourite flavours. Let me know what you like, because I like to try stuff out. I'm a bit berry. I like berry stuff. There's a really good Red Seal one, which is like strawberry and raspberry. Get some of that if you like your tea. Where else am I? So I did the tarot reading, and I've been doing that for a long time. And now this is just actually bringing that into the fore. It's not hiding something that I feel is instrumental in my health. And really connecting to it and really honouring it and honouring that path. And the more I do, I want to get into crystal grids because I just like them. I feel the energy from them, so I want more crystals and do crystal grids. And I imagine a path for me nowadays. I imagine my path forward of what I might want in the future. I do sort of like the idea of having a tea house somewhere on the edge of town, like selling some stuff and fruit and veg and breathing and stuff and do stuff. You know, I really want something quite organic from my future. So that's interesting, how that path has evolved in that. And on top of that, I have been making wands. Oh, have I got one? So I'm a little bit crafty. Oh, Poppy always ends up dropping off somewhere. That's no joke. If I put her anywhere, Poppy just jumps off. So I've been making wands. So, and I add crystals and stuff like that. So I called it the Whitler's Wands because my last name is Whitford, and I thought Whitler and the Whitler's Wands, and this is just a little adventure that I created for myself. So if you're interested in a wand, I can put crystals on them and I tailor make them and stuff. So these are the few adventures that I put myself into in the last year. It took me 2.5 months to build the website, and I need to go in and do it again because I made it myself, and I'm going to go in and rejig. So that's always going to be in construction a bit. And this page is always going to be in construction a little bit. What do I want from the next year going into my, 40, into my 50s? Wow. Lifty 50s. Let's see where that goes. But I don't know. I really thought I might get married. I didn't realise that I would be single and doing it myself and running a share house in Sydney for 10 years. Which has been its own adventure. I've had some really interesting housemates, bless you all. And that's been its own adventure. So I've been happy here in Sydney. It's a beautiful Sydney. It's a beautiful city. It always felt like home. It's got all my heritage on it, from the rocks spread right out through the state. My heritage is sort of sits in this spot. So it was easy to come back to Sydney, sort of. It'll eat you alive. But I've really hit a spot where I am starting to be able to share, I guess, what's been going on for me. And I'm going to make some short clips, 10 minutes max, so I can chat about that, because you don't get to nowhere out of nowhere. And, you know, I want to be able to go forward. I've had a lot of hardship that I've had to go through, and I've had a lot of joy, and I've had a lot of party times. So I am thinking it's time to, you know, embrace my whole and give it to you all. So I hope that you're liking my adventure. I'm going to obviously keep putting tarot readings up on this, but I'm also going to add a little bit more of me and you, and sharing a cuppa, and perhaps talking about some of the posts that I even put up on Facebook. I saw one today about frequencies and vibration, and I really want to talk about singing and frequency and vibration. So that probably is the next vid. So I really enjoy that you're here, and thank you very much, and hope you're having a good time. Ciao for now.